Congratulations to the football of actually. Good afternoon to members of the media. Important win. Congratulations to the team. Congratulations to the football club. Congratulations to the supporters. A difficult game, one we had to win because we haven't won in a while in the domestic league. So important for us to win, and congratulations. Very proud of the effort of the players. Very proud.
Questions on the floor, please introduce yourself, asking the first questions.
Masket of power.
Sure, let's go.
Coach, the last three, besides this one, here at home, the Nedbank Cup and then the other draws, what have they taught you?
Sure, a lot of lessons. A lot of lessons. We dissected the performance of the team after the break. We had a few structural differences after Al-Ashli Royal AM, and then we had a FIFA break. What it looked offensively and what it looked after Swallows, Cape Town City, Golden Arrows, even the Nedbank Cup, there was a few changes in our performance, especially from a positional sense. And then we also had a couple of challenges, of course, and that's normal from a confidence perspective. And but today we had to win. We had to win. We arrived from Algeria early yesterday in the morning after 20 hours in transit, and then allowed the players to go home and see their families for a couple of hours and refresh and get ready for a training session in the evening, and then camp. And no time. We had no time to prepare for this game except video analysis of the opposition, video analysis of our game against Restart, and then some structural information from the team meeting. So, hence I say to the players, it's incredible what they did today, and I'm very proud of them because we had very little, if any, preparation for this game.
Coach Mahlatsi from Times Life. During those three draws and obviously the Stellenbosch result, the league was already won, but did you maybe fear that the wheels are somehow coming off looking ahead of the Champions League? And also, were you maybe in a way taken aback by the response of the fans after that Stellenbosch loss? Because, looking on social media, the comments and stuff, a lot of them were a little bit, harsh, if maybe I can use that word.
Yeah, but that's the life we live in. And that's why it was important to win today, because and to tell you the truth, I think we played much better against Cape Town City. I think we played much better against Golden Arrows. We played much better against Swallows and Dobsonville, much better than what we played today, and we didn't win. So we know that at Sundowns you have to play well and win. We know that, but there are times where we have to show that we are champions. We have to grind results a little bit. We have to roll up our sleeves. People say Rulani's teams don't push and get dirty, but Rulani's teams also put a little bit of work today, and they got dirty, pulled up their socks, crafted hard, and it's not always going to be pretty. It can't be pretty because it's not a world of realism and perfectionists and all these things. So as I said, very proud of the effort of the players. I'm not so sure rotation is always the best thing. I'm not so sure. I look at how sometimes the level drops so drastically, and then to elevate the performance levels, because you lose a little bit of mental intensity there, being in camp, concentrating and hyping yourself up mentally to be prepared for the next game and the next game and the next game. And you only have to check the big teams across the world. I was looking at Man City for an example. I went to their game against Bayern. I went into their game in the cup, 4 or 5 changes max always, and they play Saturday, they play Champions League. Tuesday, they play a cup game against Sheffield. A couple of days later, it's not a lot of rotation. Gundo is in the lineup. Haaland is in the lineup. Bernardo's in the lineup. They play the games. They play, and this is what players need. They play for momentum, for rhythm, and for also this mental involvement to stay in the season. So yeah, we have to go. The risk, on the other hand, is some of the soft tissue niggles, Nasir, Cassius a little bit. But very proud of Cassius and Nasir, because immediately when there was something, they didn't force. They immediately said, hey, and then prevention is better than cure. You make 2 early subs, but that's why we had the bench that we had, and we were already anticipating the changes that we had to make. Even at our time, we knew we had AB to start, but couldn't give him 90. We knew we had Tapelo to start, but couldn't give him 90. We knew we had Mbule to start, because Mbule needs the games. AB has missed a lot of the season. He needs the games. He needs regularity, rhythm. He needs understanding of how we play and understanding of his teammates. He needs that, because he's had less minutes than everybody else throughout the season because of injuries and many other complications at the beginning. So they need the games, they need the regularity, they need the rhythm, and it was good to see them on the pitch. Very, very good.
Of course, there's this sentiment now that comes up. You look back to how you lost to SuperSport. And I know it when you were in charge, but it was talked about how SuperSport was pressing in that game and how the press got them opportunities to get a win. And then even when you beat SuperSport here in 2-1, still it was that there weren't many opportunities for SuperSport that they missed because of how the press was coordinated. And Stellenbosch as well, because their 2 goals again were coming from that. What becomes your response, not in terms of what you say to me, but on the pitch with your team to counter that? Do you think that this is something that teams are looking at and saying, maybe there's an opportunity here, and obviously how do you then respond to it?
No, I can't talk about what the opposition does. The opposition can press against Bergie Stad. The opposition was pressing. They come with 3 on top of the defensive line. There's small details, Skipper, in that. Against at least you can't present an extra player because you've got a different profile of a goalkeeper. So who creates that extra player? And that's very difficult, because when they press with the 3, is now is it a central midfielder to make it 3 versus 3, or you need a goalkeeper to make it a 3 versus 3 in the first line? And then the problem is you are short on the other side if you bring a midfielder this side. So I need more time with you to unpack this thing, because what happens on the build-up phase influences what happens as we attack the box. And everything is about the process of getting to the next line, to the next line, to the next line, to the next line. And how do you generate a superiority on your first line of the build-up? We use Ronza, and you see it today how important it is, because even Richards were impressed. They were very aggressive with Barnes, very aggressive with Memela, very aggressive with Songwa. And then there's a little bit of a movement inside from Sundowns. And then when they go with 4, you go, because you've got no Mudiba. So how do you make an extra number? First is Ronza to make it a 3 with the centre backs, and then is Spitzo and Zungu to make it an extra player, and not to commit on this side of the first line of pressure, but onto that side of the first, so that even if it's a 4 versus 3, but because you trust the ability of your centre backs plus the keeper to be able to bring the ball out and to be the playmakers, once you arrive on the next line, you have possibilities to now say, Matebula, will you jump? Mhlomo, will you jump? And if they jump, then it's the centre backs to cover the space behind the central midfielders. So everything is then a ripple effect of the situations where you invite the pressure. So we don't look at pressure as as an enemy. We actually look at pressure as something we want teams to do. We want teams to press us because we have then access on the other side a little bit better. So when a lot of people are analyzing our games and say, but they lost because this opponent pressed them, this opponent pressed them. The pressure is actually a consequence of how we play. And so there is going to be pressure. What needs to then happen is how do we then progress and find possibilities to get through the first line of the press without committing far too many numbers on this side, so that we can still generate imported superiorities in football that are positional, numerical, and because we already have, as we enter most of the games, qualitative superiority. So to not lose all these things, we need the pressure of the opponents. So as I said, it's a lot more detailed than that, but it's day-to-day work, it's confidence, it's wins, and to get to a space where, as we win, we can improve the team and get better.
Does it explain how important Aubrey and Ronza have been to your team? Sorry, my apologies, because no, that's okay, because obviously it's a follow-up. If it jumps to the other side, then I'm going to bring it back.
Thank you, Champions.
My apologies. Thank you, Coach.
Can we go ahead?
I can say yes. Yes.
I was hoping for a bit of an explanation.
Yeah, we've got so many games to still play. So I don't want to get too much involved in revealing how we play and all these things, because there's a lot of detail. We've got a lot of games still to play. There's opposition that listen to my press conferences. They watch our games. So I cannot leave our team completely naked. The coaches must and the analysts must still do their jobs and not just get all this information from me. So I don't want to go too much into that. I promise to answer that question at the end of the season.
Coach Clifton Mawasa from Nim Sports. Is it Nazir's injury that much serious? And if so, but how much frustrating to see him getting injured every time, almost every time when he gets back to.
It's life, it's football. It's like the boxer that goes into the ring and every time he's going to get punched in the face. So it's the game of football. He'll be strong. He's there. He's working hard, and I'm sure he will. It's not a serious. It's not a serious issue. No, I don't think it's a serious thing.
Coach, now Masana.
I don't know.
Coach, earlier in the season, I know you spoke about that you're not here for records, and you're here to win trophies. And first of all, Peter, 100 goals in South African football, and Ronwen obviously not playing today, chasing that Mon Joseph's record. After the game against Stellenbosch in the last European Cup, we spoke on the block. We spoke about how the difference between just another good season and being great, and how important now, after the disappointment of the European Cup, for you to surpass the 72 points and obviously the big fish.
We have to try to win every game. That's the thing now. It's difficult times for us because every game now is a game of consequence. We play against opposition that everyone is playing for something. They are playing either to fight relegation, to get into the top 8, to finish second. So many teams are fighting for that second position. So, and then teams that we play against in the Champions League are fighting to win the Champions League. So every game is a game of consequence. That means we have to be at our best. Every training session, every match, we have to fight. We have to be able to solve football problems and the dynamics of the problems. And even sometimes when we are a little bit tired. I watched Man City versus Bayern. Man City tired last 15 minutes, but there's a graft. It grows with the team, the personality of the team, the mentality in the team, to know that you can trust each other in difficult moments and you can suffer together, and that was a good example today. So look, it's not easy, it's tough. But it's the space Bayern are in. It's the space Real Madrid are in. They're trying to put pressure on Barca. They have to win in the league. They have to win in the Champions League, there's an intense pressure everywhere. The big clubs get into April trying to play with pressure, and that's where we are. We've got a different program. Maritzburg, Richards played against Maritzburg on a Friday. Had an extra day than us. Traveled, 2 hours less from Durban to Joburg. We traveled 20 hours from Algeria, Algiers, Cairo, South Africa. The day before, we have to be here. We have to play. No one has time to listen to our excuses. Nobody. So where do we go? We go into a space where we have to produce the results, and then when